Hi everybody, it's the 9th of August today. Now I've got to talk about three things today which are all interlinked, which have been disastrous under the political administrations of the last 20 years. Now the first is housing, the second is immigration, and the third is foreign policy. Of course, we know that there is a housing crisis in the UK, and all people I talk to who haven't got a house, who are young, coming out of university, almost all of them, simply can't afford to buy a house because there is a crisis, and that means that there's more demand than supply, and house prices have gone through the roof because that is linked to mass rapid immigration. There's no getting away from it. And I know some people would like to pretend that that's not the case, but it is the case, because in the last 20 years, the population of the UK has gone up from 59 million to 68 million. And that's just the official figure. That includes perhaps the people we see now coming across on dinghies across the English Channel, hundreds a day. And this year, despite us being told by the Johnson government that Brexit is going to mean that we can control our borders, they've made no effort or attempt whatsoever to control our borders at all, apart from bunging £50 million to the French so they can do pretty much naff all about it, take the money and laugh at us. So we got 10,000 people at least coming over in dinghies, but that's just the ones that we can see. That doesn't include the people that we don't see, who are coming across every day in the back of lorries. And the only time that we see them is, for example, when those, I think it's 27 poor souls from Vietnam were suffocated in the back of a lorry in Tilbury and died because they were sealed in and they didn't have any air to breathe. Well, that was just one particular case where we found out about it, but that's happening all the time. And there'd be people being brought in to work as slaves on farms and in mansions and nail bars and chicken shops and all these kinds of things. People, Black Lives Matter, Antifa people ridiculously go on about slavery 300 years ago, but they don't want to even mention the fact that mass immigration, uncontrolled immigration, is leading to slavery right here, right now, in this country. Modern slavery is all around us. They don't want to even talk about that and divert and deflect from it because, they're culpable in some sense by continuing to push for mass immigration. So that's happening. But some of it, of course, is related to the disastrous foreign policies that we've had in this country. First of all, 2003, going to war against Iraq. Now, Saddam Hussein was not a good guy. I mean, of course, I'm not in praise of Saddam Hussein at all. But the effects of going to war on Iraq were utterly disastrous, and Iraq is far worse off now than it wouldn't have been if we didn't go in and bomb it. And then the Libyan bombing in, I think it was 2012. Taking out Gaddafi. Again, I'm no fan of Gaddafi, but he did stop immigration coming across the Mediterranean Sea. We didn't learn from that either, and the West, UK, USA, of course, leading under Obama, actually withdrew from northern Iraq, left all the equipment behind, so that radical Islamists could form ISIS, and with huge amounts of high-tech, bang up-to-date American military equipment, and cause all the havoc they did in Syria because they wanted to get rid of Assad. And again, I'm no fan of Assad, but can't we learn from our mistakes, Don't go in bombing countries and then expect them to be better than what they are in the first place. And right now, Biden has done exactly the same thing again. They've just withdrawn from Afghanistan after being there for 20 years. Now, I'm no, again, no fan of the West getting involved in conflicts which, we shouldn't be involved in. But they've done exactly the same thing now as they did with the rise of ISIS. They've just withdrawn very quickly from Afghanistan, left behind huge amounts of infrastructure, military infrastructure and equipment, which the Taliban have just picked up. They're taking over Afghanistan again, and that's now leading to another mass migration. In 2015, you had hundreds of thousands of people just coming from Syria into Europe. And Merkel said, we're going to welcome them and open the doors for them, and look at the disaster that's turned into in Germany, and is now turning up at our shores with the uncontrolled flow of military-aged men across the Channel. Well, as far as I can tell, right now, there are hundreds of thousands of people. I don't know, well, I've seen reports. I don't know if it's hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands, but certainly a huge number of military-aged men coming from Afghanistan. They've just crossed the Iranian-Turkish border. The Turks tried to push them back, but there's too many of them, so they'd come over the border. So they're just going to get waved through Turkey by Erdogan and turn up in Greece. And then, in a couple of months, some of them will be at the place where they're going to be crossing the Channel. And of course, that's going to lead to more pressure on housing, more pressure to build on the green belt, to keep on building these horribly ugly tower blocks in our once beautiful cities, which is going to make property developers a lot of money. They love it. The people who make money out of turning the green belt and our beautiful cities into horrible, brutalized 21st century slums, they love it because they don't have to live there, and they don't have to share their space and resources with huge numbers of foreign military-aged men. They go and live in rural Oxfordshire or something, which is out of the way for most people. The unwashed that they don't want to live with, but just want to make money out of. So all of these things are linked together, and whether it's Labour or the Tories, they both are pushing the same agenda, and whatever they say, they pay lip service to building, more houses for British people, or British jobs, or stopping immigration, or bringing immigration down. They pay lip service to it, but they never do anything about it. They promise they're going to do something before elections, and then whether it's Labour or Tory, they get into power and they just do the exact opposite of what they say. So I've started a new party, obviously. I'm now the leader of the Heritage Party, and we are 100% committed to controlling our borders, bringing immigration down to low levels, and not building on the green belt, on our countryside, and not destroying our towns and cities, but preserving their character and their beauty, what's left of it, and restoring beauty of our urban spaces where we can, so that our country feels like it's made for human beings rather than these inhuman, brutalized things which have been put up by people who don't care about humanity. So we need a change. So I'm offering that change. We're only less than a year old as a party, but please do look at our manifesto, heritageparty.org. Join us. We need candidates to stop the madness. And the madness includes foreign policy, where we just continually get involved in wars and conflicts which are nothing to do with us, but drive a lot of negative things that are happening here in this country, which wouldn't happen if we weren't involved in them. So look us up, join us, become a candidate, and let's try to stop the madness from the next general election on.